the enormous amount of research papers. We have so many things that are in our research files, and I couldn't just begin to begin to dent what's in here. There are more than 8,000 flavonoid compounds known to science. When they started looking at fruits and vegetables, things that are red and green and purple and blue, and started measuring flavonoids, they have already charted over 8,000 of them. Flavonoids are biological response modifiers. What I mean by that, biological, it means like living, response modifiers. I say that because they are a plethora of things. They are anti-inflammatory. Yes, a flavonoid is an anti-inflammatory, allergenic, antiviral. Where are we heading in this flu season? Are we not coming down the pike with all kinds of the propensity to flu and cold and viruses and even viral pneumonia? Yes, we are. So why wouldn't we want to fortify our immune system to be antiviral? Yes, we would. And the research we'll get into in just a moment. Just on bilberry alone, in the cancer division, the anti-cancer properties are absolutely phenomenal, what the research says. And certain flavonoids concentrate themselves in specific tissue. By that, I mean that some of the flavonoid-rich extracts, once we study them in science, they target themselves to specific conditions. And tonight, we're studying the biochemistry of bilberry, so the best choice in nutraceuticals to protect the eyes. If we had to name one thing that bilberry does better than any other nutrition around, we'd say it protects the eyes. And recent research suggests that flavonoids are useful in preventing long-term complications in diabetics. You know, diabetics are constantly plagued with neurological difficulties like retinopathy in the eye, little bitty tiny blood vessels, microvascular abnormalities where the blood vessel capillary might break in the eye, macular degeneration in the eye, cataracts in the eye. So look, to a diabetic, speaking to a diabetic, look at the nutrition from a diabetic retinopathy, from microvascular abnormalities, macular degeneration. Whoa, it is amazing. The beneficial effects of flavonoids in battling the complications of diabetes are numerous and include the fact that flavonoids are generally more potent and more effective against a broader range of oxidation than the traditional antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, beta-carotene, selenium, and zinc. I'm saying that bilberry is stronger than C, E, beta-carotene, selenium, and zinc put together. And other fantastic beneficial effects of bilberry include increasing the intracellular vitamin C levels. That's neat. That means that whatever C you get in your food or your vitamins, it sticks around longer and stays stronger. And it decreases the leakiness and the breakage of small blood vessels, which in itself is going to prevent easy bruising. You know, many people bump something and they bruise real easy. We're preventing wound healing. We're providing a wide gamut of immune system support. And the most beneficial flavonoid in the bilberry, it's called anthocyanosides. Isn't it neat? An anthocyanoside, or some doctors write it proanthocyanoside. PCO is an abbreviation. OPC is an abbreviation. This is the bilberry. This is what gives the blue-red pigment to fruit. These compounds elicit a stabilizing effect of the collagen matrix. We're talking about stronger ligament, tendon, fibers in you. And they do this. Bilberry makes the collagen stronger by inhibiting the enzymes that would normally cleave it or break it down. And at the same time, bilberry not only stabilizes the collagen, it helps the collagen fibers to directly become healthier and stronger, more rebar. And as the eyes get stronger, there should be an improvement in things like night vision, intraocular pressure. Some people have glaucoma, and they put eye drops in their eyes. Well, here's a nutrition that helps with the integrity of the healthiness of the eye. And as the integrity of the intrastructure of the eye is enhanced, the blood flow to the eye structure is going to be better, especially to the retina of the eye. And by the way, collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body. Collagen, the most abundant protein in the human body. And the body uses collagen to maintain the integrity of tendons and ligaments and cartilage and even bones. And the neatest thing on this slide that's up on here under anthocyanoside, the neatest research is showing that bilberry is an excellent choice in the battle against age-related macular degeneration. Some physicians are calling this the dry form of macular degeneration. And again, bilberry is the number one nutrition of choice for the prevention and treatment of age-related macular degeneration because it has a positive effect. The retinal blood flow, the function of the retina are enhanced. And in addition to that, it exerts an excellent, powerful antioxidant effect. So it keeps the eyes from getting too dry on the inside. And by the way, these anthocyanosides of the bilberry have a very, very, very strong affinity for what we call the retinal pigmented epithelium. That's the soft tissue where the retina is. That's the soft tissue of the eye. And here goes bilberry. When you swallow it, it goes and finds the RPE zone. And it's composing those retinal epithelial area, the pigmented epithelia of the retina. That is the layer of the retina that sees the sharpest, that wants to see the finest. And beginning early in life, we're talking back in your teenage life, early in life, and continuing all throughout your life, these retinal epithelial cells of the eye, they start gradually accumulating gunk and cellular debris, lipofuscin, nasty stuff. And whenever it gets in the eye, it messes with the vision. It hurts your fine vision and your acute vision. But bilberry has a very strong affinity for that area of the eye that's most affected by macular degeneration. On the next slide, Gloria, what I did, I went to one of my medical textbooks. Dr. Alan Gaby, one of my favorite professors, if you will. I have heard Dr. Gaby lecture in Chicago before, and I read his stuff faithfully, and I buy his textbooks on a regular basis. And this particular book, it's called Nutritional Medicine. Average person would not want to buy that book. It's thousands. It's 1,000+ pages thick, but the book sells for $300 or $400. It's like one of those college books that you just pay an enormous price for it. But anyhow, out of curiosity, I flipped to the index and I looked up bilberry, and there it was. In the index page, in this 1,000-page book, under this bilberry heading, was a secondary heading called Flavonoids, and the list goes on and on. Allergic rhinitis, that means runny nose. Atherosclerosis, that means hardening of the arteries. Everybody knows what diabetes is, but look at all the complications of diabetes. That's the fixer in the flavonoid of bilberry. Dysfunctional uterine bleeding. There are some people who really do have massive amounts of when they have a menstrual cycle. It's very unusual, and this helps with uterine bleeding. Dysmenorrhea means painful menstrual cycle, and many times ladies have difficulty in their PMS. Epistasis means nosebleed. I guess I should have just typed nosebleed, but think about it. Capillaries are very fragile, and the nose bleeds. So the nutrition of choice to prevent epistasis or nosebleed is bilberry. Gastrointestinal bleeding, like as in duodenal or peptic ulcers or other areas of the colon, they can easily bleed the softer the tissue gets irritated, but this stops that. And as I mentioned a moment ago, the improvement of the retina and the flow of the blood to the eye has actually, in double-blind medical studies, lowered the glaucoma index, the pressure in the eye. They did studies on hearing loss and found that people have a higher and a lower acuteness to hearing with the bilberry, knowing that it helps all veins, and the biggest vein to get most irritated is the hemorrhoid vein. So yes, you help hemorrhoids, not only not to bleed, but also not to be inflamed. And hypertension means blood pressure. Yes, bilberry lowers systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Idiopathic means unknown cause, but edema means swelling. And some people, believe it or not, some ladies particularly, they swell in their ankle, feet, and legs when they're sitting, but they swell in their face and their eyelids when they're laying down. That's idiopathic edema. And this is the way to go at it. This is the thing to get that swelling, that puffiness out of your eyelids and out of your face. Lymphedema means the lymph nodes get congested, and under the armpit or under the throat area, wherever the lymph node is, when it gets congested, then you swell like the mumps. And this particular helps to drain the lymph system. Meniere's disease is those who have ringing in the ears and dizzy spells, and it's usually an autoimmune response, but Meniere problem is dizzy, dizzy, dizzy. And yes, bilberry stops with dizziness. Menopause, like in hot flashes and night sweats, yep, bilberry. Night blindness, I just mentioned to you, people that have a trouble accustomizing their eyes to the dark will be able to see better even in dim light. It's all been there. Periodontal disease, like in gum problems that bleed too easily when you brush or floss your teeth. By the way, primary biliary cirrhosis, that just means bile duct. You know, the bile, like the gallbladder, the liver to the gallbladder, the bile ducts, they can get congested and cause all kinds of pain. Purpura is a purplish or reddish or brownish color, discoloration on the skin. And you've seen these people on their shin bone or on their ankle or on their feet. They have this purplish look of skin. And this is the nutrition. Obviously, if you're going to stop a hemorrhoid, you're going to stop rectal bleeding or restless leg syndrome. People are all the time asking, what's the nutrition for restless leg syndrome? It's called bilberry. Stasis dermatitis means poor vein blood return in the legs. So people with stasis dermatitis have a real problem with inflammation in the legs because of the vein structure. Help the vein, help the legs. Anti-stroke, yes. Nutrition for surgery, yes. Recover faster, heal quicker. And by the way, you could say thrombophlebitis, inflammation of the vein and possibility of blood clots in the vein. This is the nutrition to prevent that. All kinds of vein things. So from vertigo to dizziness, it is it. So think of bilberry as being helpful for anyone who would be prone to whatever, like eye strain or visual acuity. I'm talking to truck drivers, to students, to people that are around computers all the time, to pilots who fly the airplanes, to anyone who spends long hours in front of something, reading or looking at something, or even television viewers. The antocides not only help the eyes to adjust quicker to darkness, but they're very major in helping the eyes to acclimate faster and restoring the vision after exposure to glare or bright light. Like if you get your picture made and somebody has a flash and it shines in your eyes, this is the nutrition that helps your eyes to restore itself much faster. And because bilberry has an anti-clumping effect on blood platelets, on the blood itself, this is very beneficial to those who are having an increased risk to heart attack or stroke. It prevents the blood clots from becoming the blood clots. And one neat thing about bilberry that's known in the medical research is that it strengthens the blood-brain barrier, which in turn is in the human body to prevent large toxic molecules from entering into the brain. This means the brain is going to be protected from drugs, pollutants, degradation in products, and cerebral toxins, things that would normally make you senile dementia or move you into faster losing it. And according to the latest Medline research, they did a major little study up there at Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Bilberry had an anti-angiogenic property. This means it's a potent chemopreventative. It causes cancer cells to die. That's angiogenesis. And in a Russian article, I was reading a Russian medical blip on bilberry this afternoon, and it says in this Russian article that bilberry has been shown to inactivate tick-borne encephalitis, the virus that causes the tick encephalitis, because of its antiviral activity. And in Brazil, way down in South America, they discovered bilberry is awesome for improving memory and cognitive performances. So think about all the impacts, the performances, the things that bilberry can do. And one of the things is that comparing it, for example, on aging, it is a true anti-aging nutrition. The brain, you'll understand, the older we get, the more our brain is going to slow down, and we have a harder time responding to sound. But bilberry restores the responses of the brain to the youthful speeds that you had when you were hearing sound conduction. And we all know that the older we get, more likely the skin will wrinkle or sag or get thin or have a rougher texture. But bilberry improves the overall appearance, the restoration of skin thickness, the smoothness, the radiance, the firmness, and certainly the reduction of wrinkling. And going inside the eye, we've talked already about the retina of the eye, the retinal cell. And a lot of people's cell structures are dying because of light-induced damage or abnormal increases in blood vessel problems that lead to macular degeneration or loss of vision. But here comes the bilberry, and it improves the cell survival. It reduces damage from light. It reduces the difficulties of blood vessels, and it's very good for the bone cells. That means that, yes, bilberry, though it's not calcium, it helps every bone to be stronger. It helps to keep you from having osteopenia or osteoporosis. The bone-producing cells, especially in postmenopausal women, is remarkably improved with bilberry. And scientific interest in bilberry is increasing because it is now showing that the brain function and the cognitive abilities are definitely improved. And another awesome finding in the bilberry research, as it says right here on this slide, is that this berry, bilberry, in a positive way, turns on DNA expression. That means it turns on individual genes, the genomes, necessary to maintain healthy brain and repair damaged cells. Bilberry even plays a major role in the way that cells communicate cell to cell internally, talk to one another. And we're talking cell and tissue survival. We're talking blocking DNA damage. We're talking stopping excessive cell proliferation like in cancer. We're talking slowing down tumor blood supply, angiogenesis, killing cancer cells. We're talking about halting development of precancerous lesions. We're talking about slowing down tumor spread by the invasion or spread of cancer, which we call metastasis. Slow it down. We're talking about to trigger the cancer cell to commit suicide, a good thing. You see, bilberry extracts, the reason they're used so often is the research, but they're non-toxic. They have been shown to have no mutagenic or teratogenic. They do not cause any abnormal development of the baby in the womb of a mother. No embryo problem. It is perfectly tolerated even in pregnancy. In fact, bilberry was given to more than 10,000 pregnant women who were suffering from vein disorders, and they improved without any side effects or the baby in the womb of the mother. And imagine what happens when like nutrients that are flavonoids, nutrients that are like bilberry, come alongside and work with bilberry. We call it synergistic. One of them that's like bilberry is called Lingonberry. Another berry that's just like bilberry is Arctic Cloudberry. Another is Viking berry. Another is called an Arctic brambleberry. What do we got when you put bilberry, Lingonberry, Arctic cloudberry, Viking berry, Arctic brambleberry? What do you have? Engage. Visi. Engage. It only gets better and better. So why don't you try it today and see if you don't think more clearly, remember more vividly, and see better in the dim and the dark. And all that is safe, secure, and everything that I put on the slides tonight has come out of medical science research done by some of the world's best PhDs, some of the best MDs, some of the best pharmacists in the whole wide world. And they have written their stuff down, and when they do their research and write it down, I gobble it up, I write it down, and I keep it in a file cabinet. And under flavonoid, there are over 8,000 of them, 8,000 different flavonoids. And the strongest one is the stuff that's in the Visi products. So we are very blessed to have the world's best. And that's the story of bilberry, Gloria.